It's been a month since the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, and the World Health Organization and Red Cross are warning of the dire health and humanitarian crises emerging there. The WHO says fewer than 1 out of 5 health facilities previously supported by the World Bank are still fully functional. The Red Cross also says a steep decline in financial assistance is cutting short services and wages. CBS News foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tyab is following this story and joins me now from London. Hi, Imtiaz. So tell us what life has been like for the average Afghan citizen in general since U.S. forces left, and what problems have been exacerbated.
Tanya, good to talk to you. Yeah, it's really extraordinary, the situation in Afghanistan right now. And in some ways, it's quite paradoxical. On the one hand, you have essentially seen the end of the war. So you no longer have, Afghan forces that are backed by the U.S. fighting the Taliban. So that aspect of Afghanistan has changed. It's marginally safer, although we have seen the Taliban exact its very medieval style sort of punishment on people in the Afghan public. But when you put that aside for a moment and you look at the humanitarian situation in Afghanistan, and you hear from major aid agencies essentially saying Afghanistan is on the brink, that this is a country that is facing a humanitarian crisis. And the numbers are staggering. 93% of people in Afghanistan currently don't have enough food to eat. 93%. There's also a massive liquidity crisis, which essentially means there's no cash. So people can only pull out about $200 a week. And, if you live in a city like Kabul is actually quite an expensive place. And so we've been hearing from people on the ground in Afghanistan who say that they're basically living off of tea and scraps of bread. And so that situation is terrible, at least from a hunger point of view. And then, as you pointed out in your introduction, from a healthcare point of view, it's also in a terrible state. Many of these clinics around the country, and indeed hospitals in major cities, just don't have the tools that they need to treat people. So again, as we've been saying, there's a real humanitarian crisis unfolding in this country.
That is so distressing to hear, Imtiaz. And foreign aid from the U.S. and organizations such as the World Bank to the Afghan government were cut off after the Taliban seized control. So currently, how are other countries, the UN, and independent groups still providing financial support to the Afghan people without going through the Taliban, or are all funds essentially now funneled through the Taliban?
I mean, that is perhaps one of the most vital and important questions here, is how does the world engage with the Taliban? The Taliban, which, as we know, has been brutal to the Afghan people when it was last in power, and more importantly, has fought a brutal insurgency for the last 20 years, killing a lot of people, many of them, or most of them, Afghans. And we now see them back in power, and we have seen them behaving in ways in which we saw them when they were last in control. And it leaves the U.S., it leaves the United Nations, it leaves the international community and the World Bank, et cetera, with a conundrum. How do we help the people of Afghanistan, a country in which 75% of its economy is based on international aid? How do we help this nation? And there are simply no easy answers. The U.S. has frozen around $6 billion in cash, which is why we have this liquidity crisis. And we know that the World Bank and other entities which have assisted Afghanistan in the past have not been assisting. And again, many of them are waiting to see what kind of Taliban they're dealing with. And so far, it doesn't look good. But when it comes to the UN, when it comes to other aid agencies, they're saying, hey, listen, we're on the ground. We want to help. We want to do the best that we can. But you only look at the UN, which has appealed for $600 million. And so far, it's only raised about 20% of what it needs.
And Imtiaz, to your point as to which Taliban are we dealing with, what the world is watching very closely, every step that the organization takes. So how has the Taliban takeover especially impacted women and girls at this stage? I understand it's a fluid situation and, developing, but at this point, what is the indication that women and girls will be treated differently under the Taliban?
in short, it's not good. The Taliban has this interim government, not a woman to be seen. So from an official capacity, you haven't seen this inclusive government that the Taliban has promised. But if you go onto into the real world, if you will, women, basically girls haven't been to school for 12 days now. Girls from the ages of 12 to 17 have essentially been excluded from education. Taliban have not said why, just that they're assessing the situation. Boys are going to school, it should be said. And we're also hearing that major universities are essentially going to stop allowing women to study in these schools. And we have to remember that the Taliban negotiated with the U.S., in which they promised that women would have a role in this country, that they would be part of the government, that they could have jobs, that they would be able to go to school. And within a month, or rather 6 weeks, we're already seeing that eroding and that changing. Now, as you point out, this is an evolving situation, and many are hoping that given the needs of the Taliban, that quite cynically, perhaps maybe they will offer those rights and give those rights to women. But at the moment, it's not looking good. And many women on the ground who have gone out to protest, and not big groups of them, because it's a pretty scary thing to be a woman, to protest in front of the Taliban. But they're saying, we demand our rights. You promised us our rights. Where are they?
Imtiaz Tyab in London, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.